Okay, here's a look at the Premier League on the evening of the 22nd of January. Obviously, we have the fourth round of the FA Cup. So there's no Premier League fixtures this weekend, I believe, although there may be one or two rearranged due to, I think, 7 teams of the Premier League not being in the FA Cup anymore. But here's the table as it currently stands. Liverpool obviously are at top with 60 points. They bounced back from that defeat to Man City. They won ugly against Palace, but that is the sign of a good side winning ugly. I have some concerns about Liverpool. They are conceding too many goals, but on the plus side, they have less fixtures to play than Man City because Man City are still in the League Cup and the FA Cup. Liverpool can just focus on the League and the Champions League. So that's going to be interesting seeing how the fixture congestion affects Man City, who are chased them down on 56 points. And there are some concerns about De Bruyne's fitness on and off. As he fully recovered from that knee injury, he's had a few little niggles this season. Tottenham on third on 51 points. Their lack of squad depth has been shown up with the laboured win over Fulham. I mean, Llorente hasn't had a lot of league game time. He's played well in the cup competitions, but his league, he hasn't had many league appearances, and that was his first league start for a year, and he scores an own goal. So Spurs have to look at possibly getting a signing, but Pochettino has not been rushed on that. But we shall see what happens in the next 5-6 weeks. Chelsea are further back in fourth on 47 points. They've been a bit of a hit and miss as of late. And Arsenal, Man United are breathing down their necks, both on 44 points. Man United have had a massive turnaround under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, unbeaten in 7. That's the first Man United manager to win his first 7 games. Can he win his first 8 with that FA Cup tie in the fourth round against Arsenal this weekend? That is going to be a mouth-watering prospect. It could be a final any other year in the FA Cup, but it's a fourth round tie this year. That's going to be an immense match. Between the two best sides in FA Cup history. That's just going to be immense. Watford lead the best of the rest in 7th with 33 points. Wolves on 32, Leicester on 31 alongside West Ham. That's the top 10. And then we're on to the bottom half of the table. Everton are on 30, Bournemouth are on 30. That's the top 12. So there's a big congestion between 8th and 12th. Brighton are 4 points further back. With 26 points, and then we have another congestion of 4 teams separated by a point. Palace, Southampton, Burnley are separated by goal difference only, and Newcastle are just a point behind them. But Newcastle, I'm concerned about with the ownership issue. Is Mike Ashley going to sell? Is Peter Kenyon going to buy? There's only just under a week left, or just over a week left of the transfer window, so Newcastle are on the cusp of the relegation battle more than the clubs above them. I think Burnley have had a disappointing season. Southampton have had another disappointing season. Palace, they again, I think, would be a little bit disappointed where they are points wise, but league position, I think they're just a solid mid-table side. They could do something in the FA Cup, I don't know, but I think Burnley and Southampton fans will be disappointed where they are. But Hasenhüttl has done miracles at Hampton where they were when he took over to where they are now, and they've won a couple back to back. They're a team to watch going up the table. Let me get on to the bottom 3. Cardiff, 19 points. Yeah, they've had a horrific day today with their new signing Salah being registered as missing after that plane crash. So we'll be doing, when it's declared that the search is over, then we can start debating about what effect that will have on the team. We saw what happened to Leicester as well. It's been one of those years where these clubs have been touched by tragedy. So we can't forget that. How much of an effect is that going to have on the Cardiff playing group going forward? They've cancelled training today. Fulham, they're in trouble on 14 points. Ranieri, I don't think, he's the right man to be in charge. No offence to Ranieri, Premier League winner and a great manager, but I think the Tinkerman, he's been thrown into the mix. Fulham are in a bit of trouble. And with things happening off the field, with Shahid Khan's son telling fans to go to hell, there's a breakdown of relationship between the fans and the ownership there. And Huddersfield, even though they got Seward, why would you leave a winning side at Borussia Dortmund? I have no idea. And David Wagner was fully aware of this for the last 2 years, that they were planning to bring a replacement in. So Huddersfield, I don't know what they're doing. I would have just got someone in for the end of the season. They are looking long term with Seward, but budget wise and the fact they haven't got an academy at the moment, I can't see Huddersfield bouncing straight back from the Championship. I really can't. Unless they have a magical turnaround and an escape of all escapes. The Great Escape could still be on, but they are 10 points off Newcastle. They're 3 points off Fulham. They're 8 points off Cardiff. They are in serious trouble. So that's the table as it stands. Now, here's my predictions. Now, predictions I'm terrible at. I've proven this many times on the channel. I still have Liverpool as champions. I think they're playing less fixtures than Man City. Yes, there are some concerns with Liverpool, but they have that cushion. They don't have to play as many cup games, which will benefit them. I think the FA Cup could be Wolves. I think Wolves are a dark horse. People are going to laugh at me for that, but the way they got through the last round and how they're playing under Espirito Santo. Um, they are an underdog team and a dark horse for the FA Cup. League Cup, I'm going for Man City with how they've just dominated Burton. But again, Guardiola and Cup finals, I have some concerns there as well. Yes, they won the League Cup last year, but fresh in my mind is the defeat of Wigan in the FA Cup, and they have struggled in the FA Cup under Guardiola. So League Cup, yes, but Guardiola and the English Cup competitions, I don't know, but they are still my favourites for that. The relegation candidates are Cardiff, Fulham, and Huddersfield. I see no change from the bottom three as on the board. They're my predictions to go down. Newcastle, it's uncertain. We have to see what happens in the rest of January. If they don't get Peter Kenny in, then they could slip into this relegation argument. Next, sacking. Claude Puel at Leicester for me. I think he's the next to go. I think I'm surprised Warnock hasn't been sacked at this point by Cardiff, but I think even though Leicester are ninth, Claude Puel, they're too inconsistent. They beat the top six regularly, then teams around them they lose against, and it's weird. They have been champions in recent years. Most of that squad are still winners. They know how it takes to win. His tactics don't suit the style of play that Leicester are good at, which is counter attack. They're trying to play this possession football. They got embarrassed by Newport County. I think Claude Puel is on the chopping block. I think he's gone before the end of the season. So that's a brief look at the Premier League table as it currently stands, the relegation battle as it currently stands, and my predictions going forward. If Claude Puel isn't sacked by the end of the season, I will be amazed. I think the inconsistency of Leicester, some of those results they've had where they've lost against teams around them, had they won those games, they could be up with Man United and Arsenal on 40 odd points. They win one week well, and then the next week they are not good enough. And I'm sorry to say it, but I think had they won those games that they've lost against, I would say mid-table opposition, had they won them games, they're on top six, top five. And I'm not joking. That's the inconsistency with Leicester, and I think that's what's going to cost Claude Puel his job. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. It's a brief little video, obviously. There's not obviously the ongoing story with Cardiff. I'm going to leave that for a while. I think it would be inappropriate to comment on that until more facts are known. But the lifeguards of the Channel Islands, the French lifeguards, and the English, the British lifeguard patrol boats have suspended their search for this evening. And clearly, the weather we've had today, if you watch the other channel, hasn't been great. There's been some rough weather in the channel. We've had snow, we've had fog, we've had hail, we've had sleet. It is difficult to do a search operation in that. So the Cardiff story, what effects that's going to have. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.